Research indicates that as a woman's approaching her third trimester and even up to 4 months after delivery, short-term memory becomes in some way impacted. It doesn't mean that there's brain dysfunction. It means usually because she's considering so many life changes and additional responsibilities and the awesome task of caring for and raising a child that she then begins to forget little things that she otherwise normally would have remembered. So there's several tips that I have women do. The first is to write down the night before the key things that you know you'll need to address and attend to the next day, so that they have it on paper in front of them and they can review and they can go over it when they wake up, and then throughout the day they check off things that they need to do. That's the first thing. The second thing, and even more importantly, is I teach them how to access, activate, and mentally and emotionally connect with the part of themselves I call the maximum you. Now, that's the part, regardless of your life situation or what you're going through, that knows what to do, that knows how to do it, that knows how to get things done. She is very focused. She is very mentally astute. She is extremely creative, extremely powerful, extremely organized, successful, and efficient. Once you know that part of yourself, and once you connect with that part of yourself, your mind focuses implicitly, infinitely more powerfully than it normally otherwise would. And so the combination of writing down key elements and connected with, uniting with, and remaining fueled by the maximum you enables women who are third term, trimester in their pregnancies, and up to 4 months after delivery. This is a strategy that they use every single day, and their mind power, their mental astuteness, their focus, their capacity to remember and act upon the things they know they need to do becomes incredibly strengthened. As a sports hypnotherapist, I'm brought in to train the top, highest paid athletes in the world because there's so much at stake in terms of winning, losing, money, contracts, endorsements. And so when an athlete brings me in, I help them train their subconscious power so that they get the most and best out of themselves. I began to study the mind in terms of its application in sports with the intent to become a sports hypnotherapist because as an athlete myself, I always used to get nervous before games, unexplainably. I would get knocked knees, I would get cotton mouth, but then when I would score a goal or make a big play during a game, I moved from Clark Kent to Superman. I was like the Energizer Bunny. I had boundless energy, boundless confidence, and I couldn't understand why I would get so nervous before games. So I endeavored the field of sports hypnosis to help myself, so that I could start off a game with that confident feeling of power and of being in control. And from there, as I learned how to help myself, I realized the techniques that I studied could be applied to millions of athletes all over the world. Because I only trained professional athletes for so many years, not just individuals, but entire teams in the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, professional soccer, Olympic athletes who were medalists in many different sports. Then I realized it's not just athletes who can benefit from the work Pete Siegel does. It's parents who have unruly children or who need to step in and discipline their children more so. It's students who need to perform better in school. It's salespeople who need to overcome self-consciousness and fear of rejection. It's business people who have to be as mentally sharp, mentally astute, and mentally focused and as competitive as they can be. Anyone who has to generate a high-level impact response in their particular life situations, anyone who has to be competitive, anyone who has tried and failed in the past, anyone who is striving to be the absolute best that they can be, that's the person that Pete Siegel can directly help. When it comes to taking tests, there's 4 critical elements that a parent needs to know. Number 1, the child connects identity and perception of self and competency and perception of being acceptable enough in the eyes of their parents and in the eyes of their peers to taking tests. The parent has to stress to the child just to focus upon and answer the questions on each test and to take it no further than that their entire identity, that their entire level of being accepted, approved of, loved, cherished, looked upon in a favorable way is not steeped within the test. The test is to demonstrate what they know about a particular subject in that one point in time. The third thing is to teach the child how to relax, how to inwardly calm, soothe, and become confident, focused, confident, driven, and confidence self-accepted. so that that part of themselves that knows how to be competent, that knows how to perform well in positive situations, well in negative situations, well in any kind of situation, once that part of themselves is united and connected with, then the child becomes moment-to-moment focused. They can stay in the moment, emotionally calm, emotionally secure, focusing upon all the work and the study and all the preparation that they've done to get ready for the test. And that level of preparation usually is sufficient enough, enabling the child to do well in their tests. Once they are aware that they've prepared, there's nothing more that they could have done. Number two, their entire identity is not dependent upon success in that test. Number three, their parents will love them either way. Number four, then the child has to be taught to demonstrate a yearning to be successful, to produce successful, positive accomplishment results. And so as the child begins to focus with those four things set in place, the future is not an element anymore. Being accepted by parents and peers is not an element anymore. The only thing the child focuses upon then are the questions before him or her, and allowing themselves to, from a confidence framework, competently, efficiently do the very best they can.